Hey everybody, we're back again today with another movie video here for you. 1993. I'm here with Doc and Brian. We've been doing this since 1980. The movies, top 10 movies of the year, one worst movie of the year. Hope you're enjoying the countdowns. Brian on his channel, Massey's Maine Entertainment, is also doing music for each accompanying year. We started that in 65. We're going all the way through to 1999. Please check out his channel. It'll be in the link below, and click it on and see what we picked for our perfect album for each year. Guys, this is interesting. 1993, a loaded year. I could have went 20 deep on here. We're only down to 10. Of course, we're only picking a top 10, so it was really a challenge. And a lot of good films are going to be left. I'm hoping you guys pick up the slack and fill in the blanks where I might have slipped up. So what'd you think of this year, 93?
Yeah, it's crazy good.
Crazy good
to me. Yeah, it's I think sometimes we do our list and stuff like that. We start bringing off, all right, I got, pretty solid 4 or 5 that I really like at the top, and then good ones they're going to fill at the end here, but they're not like, top tier kind of thing. A lot of good movies, man, in 93, and this list easily could have been 15, and I would have been pretty happy watching any of these 15. That's my take.
Yeah.
It feels like in the past, we've kind of filled in those last 2 or 3 spots,
right?
With, movies that were good, that we don't necessarily revisit. Now it feels like, well, yeah, I like all 10 of these. I feel like I can go back. I can go back on all 10 of these. It's not a problem.
Yep.
So
I agree. Yeah, this is a lot of fun. Order tonight is Doc, Brian, and myself. Of course, we don't know each other's picks. That's a lot of the fun of this, is knowing we're trying to figure out what each other's going to do and what surprises we're going to find along the way. You don't really know the other guy's rewatchable habits as much until we get these lists and you see, hey, he really likes that movie quite a bit more than I thought he did. So good stuff here. Let's get into this. Doc, kick it off. 10 down to 1, and your worst, of course.
Well, the worst will make an appearance for sure. So
absolutely,
yeah. Like I said, this was very tough to do. Number 10, man. I'm going to go with Tombstone at number 10 to start for me.
Yep.
I'll say outside of this and maybe something else, but I think theatrically speaking, there's the rest of these movies. Tombstone is, a personal pick for me, I guess, in one sense, but it's still a really good movie. So the Earp brothers and Johnny Ringo and Val Kilmer and the gang, Sam Elliott, Kurt, this is a good Western story, man. Wyatt Earp and Johnny Ringo and the gangs, the 2 conflicting gangs and stuff like this. But it's got a little bit of campiness to it, but it's a really well done campiness part or fun. I don't know. It's an easy watch, man. Easy watch Western for me. So it's
Val Kilmer is Doc Holliday too.
Val Kilmer as Doc Holliday is fantastic, and everybody loves it. Everyone knows, I'm your Huckleberry. That's everybody knows what we're talking about. So but like I said, there's a lot of movies left off, and I just put this one in here, maybe on this level, just for that one reason.
Yep.
Number 9, I'm going to come in with Bronx Tale at number 9 for me. And I think the rest of my list is, well, you'll see what I'm talking about here, but Bronx Tale, you get De Niro in a different kind of role for him in one sense, as a fatherly figure and stuff like this, and conflicting with, so we say the bad side of groups and stuff like this. Bronx Tale is a really good flick, man. Like I said, this list is personal, and I'm leaving off stuff here, but this is just the way I think movies, I'm just going on tiers of movies, if you want the truth. And for me, this is the way it lands, the number 9.
Yep.
Number 8, I've got In the Line of Fire at number 8 for me.
Nice.
Placement might be one thing, but this is a solid top 10, I think. So Clint's awesome, the Secret Service agent, coming out and doing things in this movie. And if you haven't seen the movie, it's pretty good. It's a really good thriller, political thriller kind of feeling to it and stuff like that. But John Malkovich steals the show here, man. This is men of many, shall we say, disguises in one sense, just for his character and stuff like that. But outside that, it's him. I love the script written, between him, and the dialogue between him and Clint is mesmerizing on the screen at some points, you know, just between the two. And the way it's filmed makes it that way, you know, well directed, man.
Yeah.
The Line of Fire, great flick. Like seeing Clint show up like that too, man. So he still got it, and I like that a lot too. I got The Firm coming in at number 7. Still one of my favorite kind of like thriller kind of flicks again, man. Yeah, sure. Gene Hackman's in the movie. Go figure. So it's on Doc's list. So
Consistent. Yep.
yeah, there's a reason. It's I guess I'm not BSing when I talk about him, but
No.
The backstabbing and the spinelessness and the different things that happen in this movie, you know, with Tom Cruise thinking he's hitting the home run, getting into the right firm as a lawyer, you know, passing a bar exam and stuff like this, and how things get skewed and how his life changes, and who can outsmart the next guy. Great flick, man. Great thriller kind of flick like that. And if you like those kind of movies, this will hit your sweet spot, man. Number 6, I have to have Jurassic Park. Nothing was like Jurassic Park before Jurassic Park. And yeah, it's a dinosaur movie, man. Yeah, it's fantasy and everything else. Spielberg. This is a highly visual movie. It's edge of your seat. You want to be entertained. When you were going to the theater in 1993, you go see this movie and tell me you're not walking out of this thing with a big smile on your face going, man, that was the best popcorn movie I've seen in my life. It was, because you've never seen anything like it. Is it the best movie of 1993? No. But I think it deserves top 10 stuff, man, just for what it does.
Yeah.
And like I said, man, there's movies not making my list. This one's making my list for what it does do. Not the best story. It's not anything the best acted. It's just the most entertaining movie of 1993, man. And still entertaining. It's on now, you'd watch it. Number 5, Carlito's Way, man.
Ooh.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't think this would be one of my 6 that we'd hit on, but you know, this is a great movie, man, for me.
It's good.
I get Pacino and Penn in a movie, and this is gonna climb my ladder as well. So this is once again 2 of my favorites. Kind of in their prime again, you know. The primes for some of these guys last pretty long, right? You know, Pacino's from the 70s up here now, here we are in the 90s, and he's still in his prime, if you ask me.
Yeah.
And Penn, you know, these are great actors, man.
Yeah.
Just a mobster getting his way back out, getting his feet back in, trying not to get dragged into what he got into in the first place, and kind of getting sucked back in and trying to figure his way out of it through his lawyer, who's Sean Penn, who's just the furthest thing from a really good lawyer in one sense, but just a real piece, man. Carlito's Way. You like the backstabbing, you like that kind of vibe in a movie. Pretty high end, man. Pretty top notch stuff.
Yep.
Number 4, I got True Romance, man. At number 4.
Yeah.
Some of it's my feeling and stuff like this, but here we go, man. You know, this is a fantastic cast. You know, we can bring them all off. We all love it. Yeah. I don't know. Val Kilmer, Christian Slater is very good. This Patricia Arquette, Christopher Walken, Gary Oldman. I mean,
the eggplant scene is the
absolute
best.
Killer scene.
Killer scene, man.
Hopper and Walken. Woo.
Yeah, Hopper and Walken. Yeah, your son. Hey, he's working for him. It's a real twist, turns, cops, bad guys, con artists, the whole 9 yards. Quentin Tarantino script. This is a Quentin Tarantino movie that wasn't directed by Quentin. Well, Tony Scott did it, which is fine. That's nothing wrong with that, man. So, yeah, this is sweet spot, Doc kind of flick, man. This is right there for me, man. Guy flick. Number 3, I got Philadelphia at number 3, man.
Wow.
Nice.
This is mainly due to Hanks. Stories aside, you know, pretty prevalent story, especially in 93 at this time. with someone being dismissed because they have AIDS and stuff like this, and a wrongful dismissal suit and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, Denzel's very good. Denzel's good. Denzel could show up in 3 minutes in a movie and you say, man, the guy stole the show. But Tom Hanks is deserving. It's it's tough to say. You know, I got a couple of hitters I like on here too. But this is A+ acting, man. And there's scene stealing in there, and it's hard to scene steal. And I've talked about that before with certain people on screen with you. And Hanks kind of actually does it in certain scenes with Denzel on screen with him.
Yeah.
Hard to do, man. Hard to do. Really well done. Great underlying story, and a meaningful kind of movie. It ranks high, man. It's number 3. Number 2, here we go with that acting thing again, man. In the Name of the Father. Number 2.
Nice.
You know, the IRA and Daniel Day-Lewis. I don't know. I can just say Daniel Day-Lewis is in the movie, and all right, that's the top 5 right there, and how it ranks from there. Story, script, and everything else that goes in it, and long span of what happens to him being, a scapegoat, basically, for something that happens, and he's got nothing to do with it. And you're Irish, and you're taking the hit for something that you didn't do, and tries to prove your innocence over a long period of time. A lot of people can relate to that, possibly at different stories at different places, but this one just relates to the IRA bombings. Ruins his whole family. Like I said, it's Daniel Day-Lewis in the movie, man. Fantastic. Here we go with this guy's run. We're into it now because he's showing up a few times as we move. Worst movie. First one I wrote down. I've never liked the skit when I did see it. Didn't like the movie at all. Piece of crap. Straight at you. It's Coneheads. To me, it's the worst for friggin' 93. Like I said, never liked the skit when it happened on SNL. I always thought it was just blah and lame when it used to come on in SNL. Yeah, I like Aykroyd, man. Jane Curtin are fine and stuff like this. This is humorless comedy to me. I don't know. Is this a good, funny movie? No and no. I don't know what to tell you. It's lame. Some good choices out there for 93. This one just always popped up to me as number 1, man. So I got no problem picking Coneheads as the worst, but you guys might have something different, and we're just going to save some people some time. Best movie of 93 for me, number 1. High-end stuff, man. Schindler's.
Yeah.
I can talk about any kind of war movie. We all like our war movies too. We can talk about Saving Private Ryan or Platoon. We can bring them off. We all like them. We all think they're shot well. We all think they're acted well. We all think they're top notch and stuff. This is not a watch. This is not an easy watch. And they're all real in some sense, those movies, and they all are. Spielberg did Saving Private Ryan. There's realism through all these movies. Nothing like this, man. This is the most heartfelt, disturbing war movie you'll ever watch, in my eyes. There's some trying to be some good things happening. I talked about Hanks. Ralph Fiennes is if we ever did a video like the ultimate bad guys in movies, not like the bad killers or anything like that, bad guys in movies. That might be number 1, man. This character is evil as hell. Yeah. And to play it as well as he did, the acting's fantastic. Liam Neeson's fantastic in this movie, man. Mm-hmm. I know what to say, man. Schindler's List is a masterpiece. In movie and filmmaking, top notch, man. I don't think it gets much better. Number 1.
Yep. Well, I'll say this. Every single one of your 10 was considered on my list. Some of them are on the list and others were on my honorable mentions. Every single one. There's not one surprise, not one sleeper that I thought you threw in there just for the hell of it. They're all strong movies, all 10 of them.
Yeah.
I had 6 hits, and then 2 of yours were my first two out.
So
I
right
mean,
there.
we were that close to having 8.
I had 7 hits.
Oh, okay.
7, and the other 3, like I said, they were on the cusp of just getting in.
Okay.
So strong. All right, let's see what Brian's got for us, what his ranking.
Okay. At number 10, I've got a kind of a little known movie, but I mean, it was out there kind of along the lines of some of the Tarantino stuff that was there. I got Killing Zoe, a film by Roger Avery, starring Eric Stoltz and Julie Delpy. Kind of a, I think Roger Ebert called it the Generation X's bank heist movie of their generation type of thing.
Yeah.
But basically, it's Eric Stoltz is asked to come on and help a friend of his rob a bank, and basically everything goes to shit. So it just kind of feels very, reminiscent of Reservoir Dogs and things like that. So it was kind of that same type of mystique. And I thought it was a great movie, very well acted. Julie Delpy, I'm a big fan of hers. So she did a really good job in this movie. Number 9, I've got Jonathan Demme's Philadelphia here. I think that Doc touched upon quite a few things here. What I thought was important about the movie is that, it's Denzel's reaction when he first found out, that Tom Hanks had AIDS was all of our reactions to AIDS back at that time frame. And basically, Demme did a great job of putting AIDS at our doorstep and making us see it, for more than just a disease that kills people, but it made us see the individuals that were affected by that, whether it's the person who is dying from it and their family and everything else. Especially the ending, that last 8 minutes of the movie where they're showing clips of him as a child on the television while they're listening to Neil Young's Philadelphia's playing in the background.
Right.
Powerful scene, really powerful. Wanted to include that for sure. Number 8, I've got The Piano by Jane Campion here. It has a very young Anna Paquin. Is very young. I think she won for this. It ended up supplanting Marlee Matlin as the youngest actress who had ever won for Best Supporting Actress, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, my wife does not mind this movie at all, even though she hates Holly Hunter, mostly because Holly Hunter doesn't speak in the movie. So that's kind of a big plus for my wife. She really doesn't like her voice at all, but. The premise is the premise of The Piano is that Harvey Keitel comes into possession of the piano, but he's willing to give it back to Holly Hunter's character in exchange for favors, shall we say. And the more keys that she wants to get back for her piano, the more stuff she's got to do with them. So it's interesting. And there's only so many times you can see Harvey Keitel's bare ass in a film, but.
Way too much.
Number 7, I've got Tombstone here, maybe a little higher than Doc. All-star cast. I always kind of feel bad that Val Kilmer didn't get nominated for like Best Supporting Actor for this, but he was up against a lot of heavyweights this year, and we'll get into all those as I go through my list here. So when I start looking at the list, I'm going, it'd be awful hard to break into the top 5. To even be nominated this particular year. All the acting was so strong. But it's got like Thomas Hayden Church is in this, Powers Booth is in this.
That's right.
It's just Sam Elliott, Bill Paxton. This goes on and on. The amount of people that are in there, and I didn't even mention Kurt Russell. So great movie. It's an all-time Western that everybody should see. Number 6, I've got In the Line of Fire. Got my boy Malkovich represented here. Doc touched upon some of the things in it. I think the maybe the most powerful scene, of course, is the phone call that he makes, and and Malkovich is on the other end of the phone. He goes, "Hello, Frank, and let me give a big welcome to the rest of you joining our program in progress." He says it all so nonchalantly, like so effortlessly, being the villain in the film. It's like Malkovich thrives in these situations, the opportunity to be the villain. So great movie, great premise. I think it was Wolfgang Peterson is the director.
Yeah, he is.
Of the film. Very much has his style to it. I think another funny scene in it too was when Clint's getting ready to get it on with Renee Russo, and then they get the phone call that she has to go. And then he says, God damn it, I got to put all this shit back on again. They got all these guns and everything else that they have to wear as Secret Service agents. So number 5, I've got Grumpy Old Men here. I think it's kind of a timeless comedy. I really enjoy the back and forth buddies razzing each other type of humor that's in the film. Lemon and Mathau, and you get Sophie Loren and Anne Bancroft, all great with the way they play off of each other. It's all great comedy, very very lighthearted comedy, but just hilarious if you just kind of sit back and take it for what it is. I wanted to include it in my top 5 for sure. Yeah, I got Jurassic Park here. Obviously a movie that's not really like a great film per se, but a great movie definitely. And one of the great things I remember is that movie came out when we first opened up a brand new theater in Prescott here locally, and you go to see that on the big screen for the first time, and everything was just so grand about the movie. That you just one of those adventures you're immediately hooked and along for the ride all the way to the end. I think Jeff Goldblum's character is just outrageously hilarious in it. Where he was tapping on the screen, he's going, you do plan to have dinosaurs on this dinosaur tour, don't you? Huh? Huh? I mean, just going on, and then Attenborough's like, I really hate that man.
That's right. Attenborough's did that.
That was a great scene. I liked it. So number 3, I've got In the Name of the Father from Jim Sheridan here. Powerful performance here. Pete Postlethwaite was nominated for Best Supporting Actor as Daniel Day-Lewis's father. Daniel Day-Lewis would have a string of great movies that he was in. This touches upon the father and son who were wrongly accused of participating in a bombing in England, and they're finally exonerated toward the end of the film when they found out all this testimony was just made up, and there was non-existent witnesses and non-existent evidence. I mean, it's just a crazy type of cover-up that was involved. Maybe my favorite scene in it though was when they were always being razzed by the English inmates, and then one of the members of the actual IRA got transferred to the prison, and he slid a piece of paper across to one of the English guys who was giving him a hard time, and it was just a list of addresses that were all family members of this English guy. And he said, if any other Irishman is touched, he goes, my fellows are going to be visiting every address on this sheet of paper. And that just gives you that idea about who you were dealing with in the film. So number 2, I've got from Tony Scott, True Romance.
There you go. Right on.
It might be easier to list all the people who are not in this movie. Brad Pitt's character is one of my favorite characters in it. Lying on the couch, he's like, don't you condescend me, motherfucker. He's like all baked out of his mind. Val Kilmer as Elvis Presley, the imaginary character in his head. It's great. Christian Slater is in it as well. And then the infamous eggplant dialogue between Christopher Walken and Dennis Hopper, that is just some of the best acting you're ever going to see in a movie ever. You've got to watch that scene. If you haven't seen it, everybody should definitely go out and see this movie. But number 1 was awful hard for anybody to supplant. It's a great movie, and maybe one of the top 5 or 6 films of all time for me. Schindler's List, easily. Spielberg is just on another level of filmmaking. Again, with something like this, the use of black and white, except for some splashes of red intermittently throughout the film. It's just powerful stuff. The performances by Liam Neeson, Ben Kingsley are great, but like Doc said, there's nothing that touches upon Ralph Fiennes' Amon Goth character in this. His Today is History speech that he gives when they're first opening up the internment camp is just, it just tells you everything that was in the mentality of the Nazis back then, and you could just see this horrible thing on the horizon based on the speech that he had given. And he's just an absolute brutal bastard in that movie. I mean, you just hate this guy from the moment he opens up his mouth the first time in the film. Powerful stuff. Had to be my number one. Did I skip? I skipped the worst movie, didn't
Yeah,
Yeah, you
it's
did.
okay.
Hit
I
it.
always do that. For my worst movie though, we'll backtrack a little bit. Good pick, by the way, Doc. That Saturday Night
Thanks,
Live
buddy.
stuff. That's probably going to come up again as we go forward in the future, isn't it? Worst film for me was anything that's based on video games. I'm skeptical about. I've got Super Mario Brothers here. That is just absolutely terrible. I'm sure this is going to make somebody's list as a great film, but I got to tell you, I'm sure this is one of those movies that Bob Hoskins wishes he could have back. I'm pretty sure
bet
he
he
wished he
does.
could have erased this off of his resume
He said that's
and said he never did something like this. So
Wow.
horrible movie. Don't even bother seeing it.
a lot of good films too. Yeah, you're right.
We're gonna have quite a few in common, and actually, a lot of them are gonna be in the same slot, believe it or not. It's gonna be interesting to see how this goes. Yeah, that's a good list. Not as much variance as I thought. We're pretty much on the same page on these 93 films. Quality stuff. We'll go over some honorable mentions when we're done. But anyway, I'm gonna kick off my number 10, and I've got Fearless. This is a movie directed by Peter Weir with Jeff Bridges. I'm a Jeff Bridges guy, and I think he's great in everything he does. This is the one where their plane crash goes down and he's a survivor. A handful of people survive this massive catastrophe, and he walks out of this cornfield and he's never the same again. And it's, how he's changed, dealing with the trauma and the behavior changes, his relationships change, character study, and it's got a great cast. Isabella Rossellini is his wife. Rosie Perez is a fellow survivor who lost a child in the crash. John Turturro is his shrink, and Tom Hulse as his goofy lawyer. But I always like the movie, so I'm going to go with Fearless at number 10. Number 9, I've got Philadelphia. That's our first trifecta.
Nice.
Arguably Tom Hanks' best performance when you break it down and you just see the on-screen acting and how he withers away, and the paleness and the sadness. Tom Hanks is a pretty positive person, but he just, anybody with HIV would be devastated, obviously. Very sad, very emotional, powerful movie, a lot of messages in it. The homophobic lawyer, Denzel, in the beginning, he has to learn some humanity himself about what's going on and how it affects more than just that stereotype, and the families and the personal loss and that type of thing. Good supporting cast as well, with Jason Robards and Mary Steenburgen as the lawyers on the other side. They're cutthroat people, and Antonio Banderas is in this as well. Strong movie. Philadelphia, number 9. Number 8 is In the Line of Fire, another classic trifecta here, directed by Wolfgang Peterson of Das Boot fame. Clint Eastwood and John Malkovich, what a tandem they make going at it. You talk about a formidable foe. That's Malkovich here. He is like a chameleon. He's changing his look, his voice. He's matching him. It's a cat and mouse game, really. And Clint is trying to redeem himself for past screw-ups when he failed to protect JFK in the storyline. He was the Secret Service then, and of course that didn't end well. And he's trying to protect the current administration. Top-notch thriller, great action, great dialogue. So I'm putting that at number 8. My number 7 is, I like The Fugitive with Harrison Ford and Tommy Lee Jones. I put that at number 7. I think that's a solid movie based on the 60s TV series starring David Jansen, Dr. Richard Kimball, falsely accused again, sort of framed. A lot of action, a lot of tension. I like that train scene where the prisoners escape, and him in the hospital trying to disguise himself, and it goes on from there. 2 star power performances by Tommy Lee, who did win the supporting actor award over a lot of these heavyweights, and Harrison Ford, who's always a wonderful actor to watch. My number 6 is a personal film here. I've got What's Eating Gilbert Grape. I love this film with Johnny Depp and Leo DiCaprio and Juliette Lewis and Mary Steenburgen again. kind of a coming of age movie of this dysfunctional family in small town America. Leo's mentally challenged. He plays this role beautifully. They got the mother who's like 500 pounds stuck in the house. And Johnny really can't live a life on his own. Johnny Depp's character, he's there taking care of his family. There's no father in the situation, and feeling trapped, putting his own happiness and future on hold to take care of the people that he loves. So I really enjoy this film. What's Eating Gilbert Grape? My number 5 is A Bronx Tale. Doc had this one. Robert De Niro actually is in it, and he directs it based on the Chaz Palminteri play and screenplay. And he is the other actor, the mafioso guy in it. Great script, great acting. Another coming of age film with this young guy, De Niro's son, who is lured into the lifestyle sort of the mafioso guys. He's in that neighborhood, the Italian neighborhood, under mob influence, and he likes the money and the bling and everything else that these guys have. De Niro's his father, and he's a bus driver, and he tries to lead him down the right path. He wants his son to emulate him. That's the wrong way to go, and this is the right way. You have to learn there. There's also a racial element here with his black girlfriend, and that there's some dynamics that go on there. So it's just a great, beautifully written movie. I know it was a stage play originally, and it became a movie. I think it works well and well cast. De Niro, a different kind of role, like Doc said.
Yeah,
he's usually playing the mob guy. This time he's trying to play the straight guy, a bus driver who's leading a honest life and working paycheck to paycheck, showing the son how the way to go. And his son has the choice to make: do I take the easy money, or do I work hard and do it my dad's way? Good stuff, like a morality play sort of thing. My number, where am I at? 5, 4. Number 4, Jurassic Park. I had that Jurassic Park pretty high on my list. Another, you talk about a blockbuster. I'm so glad I saw this on the big screen when I did, because those dinosaurs, when they're running around in the field, and then they're in that kitchen with they're playing games with the cabinets, and they're trying to find those kids, your heart's pounding out of your chest. It's literally pounding out of your chest, because you don't know where this thing's going. It's a theme park of dinosaurs created from the prehistoric DNA. And I bought that premise. I really did. I think it was cool and exciting. The special effects for the time, we're talking almost 30 years ago now. Landmark stuff. And it's incredible on the big screen. You got Sam Neill and Laura Dern and Jeff Goldblum, and Wayne Knight, I believe, is in this as well.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, Sam Jackson.
He was his barber saw.
Yeah. So that's a real. I almost had this higher on my list, but it's landed at number 4. My number 3 is In the Name of the Father, with Daniel Day-Lewis in one of his great roles. Pete Postlethwaite is his dad. Tremendous. A man falsely accused, of course, of being a terrorist. Wrong place, wrong time. Trumped up charges. The IRA bombing, the whole thing. People actually died in this. It works as a courtroom drama. It works as a father and son story. It's got a lot of heart, a lot of humanity. So all those elements add up to a high marking on my list. Number 3. Number 2, you guys had it, True Romance. One of the great movies of the 90s, for everything concerned. This is Tarantino all the way, as far as the script. Tony Scott does a great job with it. Perfectly cast. You can't picture anybody else in any of these roles. I mean, I'm not the biggest Christian Slater fan in the world, but he does a great job in this movie, along with Patricia Arquette as that couple. Dennis Hopper and Chris Walken. We talked about that scene in the trailer. You're an eggplant, and you're this, and I forget what else he called them. They're talking about all kinds of deep subject matter. And, he knows he's going to get whacked. He gets the last cigarette, and, it's like he's insulting each other back and forth with ethnic slurs, and just
fired away.
Yeah.
Take your shot now, because you're not going to be out. You're going to be dead in 2 minutes, And don't forget James Gandolfini too, as the hitman. And he has that clash with Patricia Arquette in the hotel room.
That's right.
Cut me here, and he's like tantalized with her, and he doesn't know he's going to end up on the wrong end of it in the end. Gary Oldman is the guy.
Yes, at the beginning.
He's
And
playing-
Samuel
Oh, yeah.
Jackson. Yep.
Yep, that's priceless stuff. Brad Pitt as the stoner on the couch who doesn't move.
Awesome.
He's got
Totally.
the little honey bear he's smoking out of. You know, and the hitmen come looking for Slater, and he's like stone going, yeah, man, they went down that way. It's like, come on, get out of here.
They were here and then they went
Then they
there.
went
There.
Where the fuck's there? Great script. It's like a roller coaster ride. How about the roller coaster ride with the Coke and all that stuff too?
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, good stuff. Just colorful characters. You got to give it to Tarantino. He writes these characters with the perfect dialogue. Another one that's a romance, a comedy, a drama, an edge of your seat thriller. Who are the cops? Tom Sizemore, and Chris Penn.
Tom Sizemore.
And Chris Penn. They're the two cops.
Right.
Oh, then Chris
Yeah.
Penn.
And then Michael Rappaport was
Michael
one of his
Rappaport.
friend in Hollywood.
That's
and-
right.
Yep.
Dick Ritchie, remember?
Yep.
Just
Oh
it's
my
never
God.
boring. It's nonstop, memorable scene after memorable scene. It's
Right.
one of the great movies. The worst movie for me, I don't know if you guys have even seen this movie, but I was talked into seeing this by a buddy of mine I used to work with, and I could not believe I paid to see this. Boxing Helena.
Yes.
Okay, this is a
That's
cult,
disturbing. That
a
movie is
disturbing
disturbing.
cult film directed by Jennifer Lynch, who's the daughter of David Lynch.
David Lynch.
Ooh, no wonder.
And this is a guy who's obsessed with this woman who left him, and he captures her and cuts her limbs off to keep her trapped in the place in a mansion. He's a surgeon. Poor cast. It's the actor's Julian Sands, who's never really done much for me, and the actress is Sherilyn Fenn from the Twin Peaks era, a pretty girl. And originally it was Madonna supposed to play that role, but she bailed on the script. Then it was Kim Basinger, and she wanted to change some things, and she bailed on the script and had to pay a $3 million settlement because of getting out of her contract. So they picked
That's right.
Sherilyn Fenn.
Hmm.
She was in the Mice and Men remake too. She played the object of Malkovich's affection.
Right.
So sick, depraved, ill-conceived, horrible movie. That makes my worst of the year.
It was disturbing.
Yeah, and the best film you guys had is Schindler's List. That's our 6th trifecta out of 10 here. You guys pretty much said everything. The Holocaust, you know, the camps, so the black and white is so effective here because it reminds you of that newsreel footage that was actually shot then of these horrible scenes of, you know, barbaric proportion. It's just horrific, harrowing. It's hell on earth. The little girl in the red coat, very memorable. He uses that perfectly to highlight, I guess, innocence, and they follow her throughout the movie. Every half hour, you'll see her turn up here and there. But just a one-of-a-kind movie, documentary style almost. It is a masterpiece.
Yep.
There's never been another film like it. Educational. It's a history lesson for people that, you know, are too young to remember going through that. You can go back and he shows you the way it was, up close, personal, man's ugliness and brutality towards each other. It's just amazing. So it's a movie I've only seen once. I can't watch it again because those images are just too powerful for me. I you know, it's not a movie you're going to enjoy, but you have to see it to see how movie making can be done at the highest level, I think. So
Wow.
that's my number
Well,
one.
Well, we had 6 the same, Rich, and we had 5 of them were in the same exact position.
That's what I'm saying. Our 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, and
9.
9
same.
were exactly the same.
Incredible.
Yeah, I don't know how that lined up, but it did.
Well, I told you there. I called 6. I said there'd be 6.
Yeah, you
You
did.
You called it. You called
My
it.
first 2 out were The Firm and The Bronx Tale.
Yeah, both great movies.
Yeah.
I had, let me look at my honorables real quick because I had, you know, a movie I like. I had Carlito's Way. I had The Piano. I had Tombstone, The Firm. Groundhog Day is a movie I liked. I had, and Dazed and Confused, another one of these Linklater films. This Boy's Life with De Niro and DiCaprio, I like a lot. And I even like the Pelican Brief, even though Julia Roberts is in it. I think it works as
It's a good movie.
a nice thriller. So I like all those films. Searching for Bobby
Good.
Fischer, I like too.
I had that down too.
There's some good ones.
So
Well-
anything different would be, my last two out were The Fugitive and Falling Down were my last two out.
I thought you would have Falling Down. I remember you talking about it before.
Yeah, I just,
Yeah, it's hard.
I gotta go with, it's not the strongest of movies and stuff. And Douglas is fantastic in the movie, and he's the guy carrying the movie and stuff.
Yeah.
And The Fugitive, it's an entertaining movie and stuff. It's got some holes in the movie that, I think these other top 10 are just a little stronger in my eyes, right? The Fugitive is still a very entertaining movie, and
It is.
I had Menace to Society.
That's a good movie
and,
too.
Yeah, and also another one that would have been tough, and like I said, some of these other ones that are just off and on. Rudy is a really good, heart-tugging movie, man.
There were so many bad movies. We could have had a top 10 bad movies
Oh,
of the
for
year.
sure.
Could have.
There were so many.
My wife's favorite movie ended up on the honorable mention. That's The Piano. She loves The Piano. But
Oh, does she?
I couldn't squeeze it in. There's too many strong movies. So that was one of our better years, I think, as far as quality is concerned. We had really
Sure was.
True.
top to bottom, man. That was fun. Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm gonna wrap it
Call
up
it
from here. I just want to thank everybody for watching. Brian and Doc and I are also looking for suggestions after
Yes,
we're done
please.
this series, when we end in 99. We would love to have some suggestions. If you don't want us doing ranking videos, give us some ideas. We're looking to consider anything that's on the table. Can't guarantee we're going to do it, but we'll listen if it's a different type of three-person video we can do, whether it be taking a band and in music, or versus like Rolling Stones versus Led Zeppelin, or whatever it is. Or we can do it to movies too. If you want to go through
Sure.
and compare actors, we'll do that. Whatever your suggestions are. So we're open to them, because we're looking for new material. We don't want to be stale and be predictable and have people say, well, they're going to do another one of them. Well, we're committed to the series. So we're going through 99, and then we'll come back with some new stuff. That's pretty much
That's
what
the
I
plan.
got here.
Right.
So like, subscribe. We really need some likes, because right now we're all kind of in a little divot where we're not really doing much. We want to keep doing this. We like doing these videos. We told you that before. So give us a little help with the likes, some comments, and suggestions, I would say this time around. Check out Brian's channel, Massey's Maine Entertainment, as well.
Yeah.
And he'll have the music end of these particular years, 1993 in particular. You can go back and check out the ones from 65 all the way up to 93. And like I said, we're going to go all the way to 99, doing a perfect album on his channel, top 10 movies on my channel. So for Brian and Doc, this is Rich. Appreciate you watching, and we will see you next time for 1994. Take care.